All right, I will start with prayer and then we get on the business of the evening. Father, we thank you for your time. We thank you for your moment. We thank you for your wisdom. We gather here today not because of our own intelligence, not because of our own experience, but because of your grace that we are here to be able to connect and to share the wisdom. Whatever is shared here, Father, we believe that is going to be impactful. We know it's going to transform our lives and our generations to come. In Jesus' mighty name, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
All right. I'm going to just make a quick review from last week's class. We talked about voice projection. And the most important element that I'm going to emphasize, as many groups that I'm going to be dealing with, some of you here, I know we are doing one-on-one classes, we emphasize voice projection and getting your message across. Nothing matters. You can stand up and before the people as confident as you can be, as handsome, as beautiful as you can be, as slaying as you can be. But if you are not able to get your message across, it does not matter. So it's very, very important that we review back and remember we need to get our message across. People need to hear what we are saying. As we are having this session right now, I want to like to be able to say you are attending something and making your time and you can't hear even a thing. So it's very, very crucial that we are able to get our message across. And I'm happy that most of you, when you were doing those videos, you were able to re-emphasize what I said. So I'm proud of myself and proud of you for being able to get that feedback of people getting what we talked about. I know some of you, it was just making sure you go back to the video and listen, and then you can summarize. But at the end of the day, I got my message. And I'm happy that you were able to understand the importance of voice projection. So thank you so much for that. The other thing is that last week, I gave you an assignment, and we know how we did, all of us, regarding the submission of that. Because I didn't even have the time to sit down and analyze each video and making sure that all those videos we're able to discuss them right now. We are able to share feedback on them. You didn't give me time to do that. But I'm hoping that in the next session, we are able to submit. And I called to you to be able to submit on time. I had given you up until Tuesday. I give you ample time. So the problem sometimes is giving people enough time. Now you are making sure that they don't have time. So every Tuesdays, any assignment we are given, we must make sure we do. Number one, it was the video. Number two, it was the article that I've written. I said, read through the article and leave your comment what you have learned. Number two was the video that we uploaded, the class video from the previous lesson. The previous lesson that I had shared with you. I said, watch the video and share on the comment box your takeaways. Even to today, there is no one, I think there's one person, Mercedes, the one who have left the comment there. So those are the assignments that I asked you to do as a way to reinforce, to make sure that we do remember that as we are going to do our presentation. So I really, really challenge you, ladies and gentlemen, to make sure that we do that. But that is that from my side regarding the recap from last week's class. If you have any questions, please, you can go ahead. If you have any comment, you can go ahead regarding our previous class before we start our class. So I'm giving you 3-4 people to share any feedback, to share any takeaways, or to just give their review of what maybe they have gotten, what they understood regarding everything that we talked about last week and every assignment that we have submitted last week. So I'm giving you that opportunity to share. Thank you. Anyone? All right. In the absence of anything on that matter, I'll be continuing with today's class, which is message development. Message development. Our topic for this evening is message development. let us try to switch off our videos. Let us try to switch off our videos so that we can upload this as an audio for our YouTube. We can upload as an audio. Yes, thank you so much. So our class for today is message development. Message development. Last week we talked about voice projection. And I can imagine most of you really did an incredible work in trying by all means to make a stand presentation and you projecting your voice. I know I had not given you much to prepare about to get your message across, but you were able to share the reflection of what your message was about and what the lesson was about. So today I want to add another layer into what we learned last week on message development. And we're going to focus mostly on the tools for these successful presentations, the tools that we use to develop our message so that when we make that voice projection, when we present, we are able to get it across. The tools for message development. So one of the things that we are going to look at this evening, number one, is establish your focal point. Establish your focal point. Establish your focal point, right? If you remember very well, I said the reason why we make public speaking is so that we get our message across. And now today I'm going to come again and add another layer on that statement, getting the message across that can provoke action, that can induce action in your audience. You are going to get your message across that can induce action in your audience. So I think that is a statement that you have to note down. You are getting your message across to provoke action in your audience. So you can do that by what? By establishing your focal point. Your focal point. Some people refer to it as a call to action. As a call to action. What do people do after they hear you? What will people do after they listen to you, after you make that presentation, right? What will people do? So when you are sitting down in your message development at home or in your office and you are working on that presentation, besides so many things you will talk about, besides the stories you will incorporate, besides the jokes you are going to incorporate, there is what I want you to pay attention from today until the rest of your life, which is your focal point. This is a crucial call to action that establishes the connection between your message and the results that your message are going to drive. Your focal point is a connection between your message and the results that your message is going to produce because of the action taking that your audience are going to do, right? So it's very, very important as we are sitting down and say, oh, well, I'm going to teach people about your health. I'm going to teach them about their finances. I'm going to teach them about their personal branding. I'm going to teach them about public speaking. At the end of this teaching about all these matters that you will teach people on from now onwards, you must have a focal point which establishes firmly, which described firmly and clearly what people must do after they listen to you. Do you all understand me? You can unmute yourself and comment. Do you all understand me?
Yes, I do understand.
What am I saying?
You're saying I should make sure that after my presentation, what is it that I want people to do? My focal point, I should establish it as I'm presenting. Before I'm presenting, what action am I provoking from them?
Yes, let's clap hands for her there. It's very, very, very important that as we are, because it can be exciting, like, I've been doing Mr. Makwana's course on public speaking. Now they've given me something to present at work, or I'm going to present something about my business. And then you are excited to make a presentation. But now the missing part, you made a presentation. You can make the presentation. Voice projection, good. Posture, which we'll talk about next time, very good. Eye contact, perfect. But people have heard you, but they have not heard you. There is no action that is provoked by your getting your message across. That's why I'm saying today, you're not just going to get the message across. You get the message across that provokes action. And number one, under our message development, you're a focal point. Establish your focal point. Establish it even before you go in front of people. Establish it before you present. Establish it before you practice. Establish your focal point. Even during your presentation, your preparation, I'll talk about preparation next, preparation of the message. Even before your preparation, as you are presenting for your partner, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, before you go to present before your audience, before executives, before the students, before your audience, the people that you are practicing with, they themselves should also feel that focal point. They should hear that call to action that they must go and donate blood. They must, starting from tomorrow, work on to pay their debts. As they listen to your financial management presentation, they have to be a call to action that today, as I teach you, I want you to have the tools that tomorrow you can start paying off one of your debts. As I'm talking about the importance of blood donation, I want to make sure that by tomorrow or in this evening, you are going to donate blood. So this is your focal point. This is your focal point. And if you are able to get it across, then you are able to provoke action. You are able to drive impact. You are able to help people to help themselves. You are able to change people's lives. People can listen to you. I'm sure maybe you can recall any of some the events maybe you attended or a workshop, whatever. You hear that people are talking. While you are there in the room, you can hear. But after you leave the room, like, because they didn't drive their focal point home. So at the end of your presentation, people must have something they are going to do. And sometimes it can be so powerful that you get it so much clearly across that even when you are presenting, talking about relationships, talking about toxic friends, someone is moved. They are even blocking someone while you are presenting. When you are giving examples of toxic relationships, you are giving examples of toxic workplaces, someone they automatically even in their phones, they are attaching the letter they have written that they are resigning years ago. They are even resigning during your presentation. This is what I call a powerful focal point, where you move people to action. People already know what they are struggling with. People already know what their challenges are. They know what to do. But your ability to highlight your focal point pushes them beyond just say, oh yeah, I know about that. Oh yeah, I have heard about that. Now they do something about that. So for me, that is that as we are doing message development, can we prepare our message in such a way that after you present in that strategy meeting, people are asking you, please, can you take this task and start next week? Why is it every time you present something, oh, we'll think about it next term. I will think about it next month. Oh, we will think about even your kids. Daddy, I'll think about it next month. You are not getting your focal point, which means even if you talked or did not talk, it does not matter. But to create a sense of urgency, your focal point must be on point. For me, that is that. It's an action point for direction. Because sometimes people know they want to get out of debt. Sometimes people know they want to get out of certain networks. Sometimes people know they want to change their habits at work. Sometimes people know that they want to refine their communication skills. But until you get the message across, you are just like any other messages they have listened to before you came to speak. And they say, these motivational speakers, they always say this thing. Nothing moves you. Nothing moves your audience. That is that about our establishing your focal point. I want you to share any comments on this, whatever you have picked on this, because for me, in my heart right now, I feel like this is enough for the session. I have more than 8 things to share for this evening. But just my spirit is telling me we have to develop our focal points. Whatever topic you have mastered, have you mastered it to the level that it provokes action to your listener? Have you mastered it to the level that when you stand up and speak, even if you have to repeat the same thing that 10 speakers before you, they say, that when you get there, people move. They move not because you are charismatic, not moving because you are looking good, not moving because of your credentials, not moving because of how you are moving around in stage and how entertaining you are, but because your focal point is so clear that no one else is willing to go home again the same way. Hello, please switch off your... Please switch off your video and audio. So it's very, very important that you must establish your focal point in such a manner that even when you are speaking, you are the last speaker, after the whole day, people sleeping in the room, that you are very clear on what's next. What should I do? Hi, listen, when someone to come after your presentation and say, I want to start this as soon as now. What do you say I should do? So for me, is let's go this week and develop on our what's next. How can we get our message across that delivers action, that evokes action, that propels people to get the things done? What is it that you can do with all that you have been doing? How can you do it better if you have been doing it well? How can you do it better that you are able to create a clear point of direction, a call to action that makes people to get things done? That makes people to get things done. So my assignment number 1 in this presentation today, go and write how you are going to get and develop and establish your focal point. What are the ways that you are going to use to establish your focal point? Or the ways you are going to use to do what? To make a call to action. What are the ways that you think? Go and learn as much as possible on these ways of establishing your focal point or ways of establishing a call to action when you are making a presentation. What are some of the techniques that you can use to develop a call to action, to create your focal point? Before I pass this point, I want to address it this way, because when you make presentation, people today, the easiest things they can do is to be distracted. As you are making your presentation, no matter how full of life you may be, people just lose attention there and there. Even those who really love you, those who really care about you, there are some points they lose attention. So to drive your focal point home, you must use it in your starting of the speech, the few minutes of your starting of the speech, and also in emphasizing it in your conclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this presentation, I want to see you having established a personal brand that is able to create content around your expertise. Some of you are teachers. I want you to start to see you developing videos, teaching people on effective ways of teaching students. I want to see you develop content on how teachers should dress, how lecturers should project their voice, how they can include certain teaching techniques that can empower and liberate students. I want you to develop content on your salon, on the best practices that have worked for you in working with salons, so that tomorrow they can even book you to come and consult for them. It's a call to action. So we must be willing to use it in our introduction so that during the body, when you are dissecting the body with your supplementing stories, we talked about it at the masterclass, with your jokes, with your case studies, with your research findings, while you are developing the body, all you are doing is you are making sure that you are drilling this focal point in their minds, so that at the end of your presentation, they don't have an excuse to say, now I heard you say you should donate blood, but you didn't give us where we should donate blood. You didn't tell us why this is important for us. You didn't blah, 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 blah. People do. So you must be intentional that you share this focal point in your introduction. And then your whole body is about beefing and sharing. Remember, 4 points maximum. These 4 points that you are sharing in your body, you are driving the point home why they should do blood donation, ladies and gentlemen. With these relevant real life examples that you have to beef up your points. Now, in conclusion, all you are asking them is that, ladies and gentlemen, as I've shared the importance and why I want you to donate blood and why it's important for us, and the 4 points that I've addressed, like I'll repeat them. These are 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I see those who are saying, no, I'm willing to donate blood, and right now you can register my name there. There's a registration at the back there to do right now. Can I give you a chance to go right now to do? Your conclusion, also now you are driving now. You are just tipping the object to fall off the roof now. You are now getting the person to do it now. You are now pushing them a little bit to be able to do what needs to be done. So our message has to be impactful. Our presentation has to be impactful. We can't be called to talk about the same thing again and again and again and again and again to the same audience, and nothing is changing. We must make a call to action. It's very, very important. Yes, I see a hand is up there. Kindly go ahead and ask the question.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Yes, sir.
As you are talking about the focal point and call to action, I was wondering, what exactly does one do to call people to action? Does your message, does the message has to focus on, the how part, how to do whatever your focal point is? Say, for instance, the focal point is on financial management. So
yes.
Do I focus on, how to manage finances, as opposed to maybe what financial management is and how to avoid it, that kind of thing? Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. When you were asking this question, besides the answers that I had, when you were asking these questions, now you gave me an answer why certain times people make and attend financial classes and then they leave and do nothing. Most of the time, then we spend more time talking about what the problem is and what the problem can do to the people who are having those problems, and they have horrific examples to give. So now when we spend our time in our message, imagine now you are given, I don't know, come and give us, Mr. Odwetse, come and give us a presentation on financial management. You are going to be the fourth speaker. We give you 30 minutes. Immediately when they say we give you 30 minutes, when you try to talk about, okay, what financial management is, what's the problem normally people are faced, and then you talk about some of the examples, that is fine. Before you know it, there's no time and stuff like that. But when we present our message from the get-go of the message, as you prepare it, ask yourself this one very important question. What should the listener do after they hear me? Let's start there. The listener should work on their purchasing behavior. Number two, you're going to come up with those. The listener should work on their eagerness to buy everything they see. The listener should be able to address and deal with their debts one by one and put them and see which one comes first that they need to address. As you are asking yourself questions that are attached to action taking, your message have no other option than to center around how can I explain this action taking so that at the end of the presentation, people can actually take action. So yes, Mr. Matseb, the answer is we want to show them how they can do that so that at the end they do that. We can highlight a little bit of what the problem is and the challenges are, but quickly then we move them to action taking. So all the presentation we are going to make, let us ask ourselves, at the end of this presentation, what do I want them to do? Your 4 points of the body is going to address the how part, giving relevant examples like you were saying, giving relevant researches like you were saying, giving relevant case studies that you have found around why people struggle with financial management. Even giving real life example, like right now, you can go and coach to talk to financial experts so and so, or come and talk to me from here so that we start your financial planning as soon as next week. So when our presentations are focal point driven, are call to action driven, we eliminate unnecessary information that can help. So now we're in a position to speak for impact. We're in a position to drive people to do what needs to be done. So in conclusion of that question is we must make sure that we drive the point to home, the how part. How can you move from zero earning, zero puller to having a side hustle that can pay extra bills? How can you move from teaching this way now to teaching students beyond just the course you teach them? You teach for impact. How can you now communicate effectively such that now you are not just using it for a job, you are using it to become a professional speaker who can be paid to share your expertise you have acquired over time? Because for me, my heart, as I'm talking to you every day, I'm not just teaching you to be able just to speak effectively at work. I want you to deploy yourself to be able to speak and be paid to share your experiences, to share your expertise beyond the work you do. So that is that. The how part is the center. Now, if people know how, then they will do. So a call to action is tied to the how part of each and every presentation. Thank you so much for asking that question. I hope you have gotten what I'm sharing.
Yes, sir. No,
Oh,
I understood. Now,
okay,
I'm
good.
just maybe to follow up.
Yes,
Yes, what I'm hearing from you is that so the focal point or the presentation, it has to be
mm,
outcome based. So it
yes,
means you get what action you want people to do, you
yeah,
want them to see, and then you may work backwards as you are
yes,
preparing and see in your delivery what actions are you going to provoke so that they
yes,
see.
yes,
Yes.
yes. That's perfect. We clap hands for you. Let's clap hands for him. There's the book of the Stephen R. Covey, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. He said, start with the end in mind. It's the whole scenario of going to where you want your audience to go to, and now you show them step by step. Can I be honest with you? 90% of people who have not mastered public speaking, their end in mind is that if people can clap for me, if people cannot ask me questions. So they will say things that will not provoke questioning. They will say things that will not provoke more understanding and in-depth questions. In their head, because they are scared, they just want to say quickly and run off stage. So now they made the presentation, yes. They managed to make 100 presentation over time, yes. But the heart, in their heart, they had nothing to deliver for the audience. They didn't want to see any kind of change. So, like you are saying, beginning with that end in mind, then going back and say, okay, what action, how can I say, what information will they need? It shows now you care so much about the audience so that you are able to see action, you are able to see something being done because of what you have presented. So that is well said. Thank you so much for putting it in that way. I think as it stands, I will not go into these other things that I wanted to talk about. I will just leave it in there. Let's go and find out how we can establish our focal point. What are the techniques that we can use to make our call to action to stand out? So that in our presentations, ladies and gentlemen, we don't just present to make noise. We don't just present to pass time. We don't just present, because you are standing in for your colleague who's not feeling well. You present to drive action so that even tomorrow, 10 years later, someone can say, from what you said, I did 1, 2, 3. After you said this, I did 1, 2, 3. And these are the results that come from what you shared with me. I want us to be intentional that we are not just going to be speakers, we're not going to be presenters, we're not going to be good communicators, but we want to drive change and impact. Our heart should long to see lives being transformed, to see people's lives changing, relationships, finances, health, careers changing, because we are able to evoke that spirit of change and driving impact in our communities. From myself, that's all I have for today. I don't know if there is anyone who wants to share any take home, who want to ask any questions, and then we can call it a night. Thank you so much. Yes, Mpo, I can see your hand up. Thank you. You can ask.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry I joined in late. Can you please repeat what the assignment will be?
Okay, the assignment will be, let us go and find out the best ways we can be able to get our message across. The best ways that our presentations are centered on making sure that at the end of your presentation, people are able to take action. People are able to do what needs to be done. so that we don't speak just to present, but to create impact.
All right.
But where it stands, Mpo, what did you pick from the presentation as you have joined a little bit late, like you were saying?
I picked exactly what you're saying. That our presentations have to be impactful. Don't just stand there to present for the sake of presenting, because maybe you have a great voice, maybe you look good, maybe you're looking good at the on that particular day, but present to be impactful, drive a message across. So that's exactly what I heard. I think I heard.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone? Yeah, I think that 2 hands there. There's no name, but techno something.
Sorry, that's me. I'm grateful for this. I've learned the message should not just be about presenting Helanjeji. There has to be the point, the action that you require. And all along, I realized that's the mistake I have been making sometimes when I'm presenting, and people were wondering, then what should we do? What are you expected to do after this? So I am realizing that should be the most important thing, to start with the end at the, or what is it that you want to achieve? You're saying we all have different callings. For now, but blood, we're now but financial. Everybody in your own freestyle. Focus on this, but everybody's calling. Okay, thank you.
So I like the honesty there, where you say, most of the time you're just speaking without the heart to say what should people do from there, and you realize that you have been speaking to people. It's like I wanted to use something else, but I'm not gonna go there. Where some people people do some stuff, because where someone is just like, okay, kana gomo ka nna le gone, o ka nna le ntu, o ka nna le gomo, but people are not coming across like, okay, do this, or these are the steps, this is what you have to do. We don't just want to present for the sake of presenting. We want to get our message across. But we say today, we get the message across. How do we know we have gotten our message across? We know we have gotten our message across after people take action. From people taking action. Very, very, very important. What did it say? You can ask your question.
Good evening. It's not a question per se, Coach. I just want to thank you and appreciate, though I came late, I had another meeting. But I'm here. What I've learned is that we should always manage the ways that we speak, so that we don't distort the message. Because at the end of the day, we need to see people acting upon what we've been saying. So I think we should always have that, what you want to see at the end of your talk, being able to see it, being visible to everyone who's there, to say this person was a speaker here and this is the impact they have done to this population of people. So we shouldn't just bottle with issues, but we should manage the language and the ways that we use for impact, not just to talk the whole day. That's what I learned. And also the last part, I think I didn't have all this time I've been talking, I didn't have the sequence of how the content should flow, especially the call for action. Because most of the time you'll be speaking, and when people clap hands for you, you get excited, and at times you just leave the stage before you call for action. So I think the call for action part is very important for me to say, indeed, I've impacted life because I've seen action being taken. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. From today, no matter the kind of presentation you are asked to do, more especially even at work, let there be action-orientated conversations. No matter what you are given, train yourself always to find out what do you want to see people do from there. Even when you are talking to your kids at home, telling them the whole hour what's wrong, what shouldn't they have done is good. But if you can take a minute from there to show them what to do, how to keep their free time, what to use with the extra money you have given them, that changes everything, because you are going to see that words are powerful and words form things. And your ability to help people to take leaps and bounds of what it took them forever to do is very important. I was watching one of the videos on Netflix. Is there? I'm not your guru. I'm not your guru on Netflix. It's a documentary by Tony Robbins. While he was making a presentation, he's been hosting this event for a long time. It's called Unleash Power. Unleash Power is a conference he hosts annually, where he books maybe a hotel, and then the people go there for maybe 5 days, 6 days, very intense program. One lady, when he was making presentation, he looked at her and said, what's wrong? The lady started crying and say, you know what, after you have talked what you talked about, I realized how I've been sabotaging myself with the relationship of this person that I've been in a relationship with. And I don't want to leave this room today still with this person. The Tony Robbins asked her, would you like to make a call and break the relationship? The lady said, that's exactly what I want to do. She made a call right away, breaking up with the relationship. This is a call to action. This is not just speaking to pass time. We are given so much power with our tongue. Imagine speaking and speaking and speaking and not driving any change until you die. We can change our communities and our work environments. We can change our families by just mastering a call to action. I know sometimes you're going to get in places where you feel like people know what they want. People know what needs to be done. Always assume that people don't know what needs to be done, so that your message can center around pushing them to get that thing done. Don't assume they know that they don't have to come late to work. Your message has to put them to come to work early. Don't assume they know that they can start work after they come on time. Some people go to work, pack outside the office until it's 7:30, then they rush. It's like they're late now. Then they start rushing into the office, not even greeting others. Don't assume people know what needs to be done. As a speaker, give life by giving directives through your speech for people to do what needs to be done. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for allowing me to be in your houses and your offices right now, speaking this life, that we must establish your focal point. Let's go out there and find out how can you do it better. Write, make a write. By Tuesday, please do submit your write-up, what you can do and what you are going to do to drive your message home and to create that call to action point. As tomorrow you are asked to do a meeting, please start by asking yourself the question, what do I want them to do? Starting next week or starting the same day, what do you want them to do? When our conversations are centered around action taking, impact is evident and change is evident. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Have yourself a great evening.
Thank you so much, Rre.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Coach.